Welcome, viewers, watchers, listeners, to tonight's VSGaming Premier Division match. It's going to be ATK.unIDentified versus Leg1. Right now, top of the logs for Premier Division in Leg 1. We're looking at both teams being undefeated and finally meeting each other at the very end of the first leg. I'm sure both teams are riled up and ready to go to show each other who's going to be topping the log throughout this one. It's been very exciting from what we've seen from all the previous teams. But of course, best things come last. And just looking over at the teams, of course, ATK.unIDentified, very well known from my casts. Looking extremely strong at the moment. Looking at the hero cards here, Shapeshifter and Dizzy in the front line. Main tank and off tank, Squishy and Sponge. DPS duo to be reckoned with over there. Opting for Genji and Hanzo as their signature picks. Makulele, Chad, doing extremely well. Sleep dots, landing, left, right, and center, and a lot of damage being outputted from Makulele. But looking over at eN.E.D.E.N, who we have not seen too much of, Energy Esports, one of the leading MGOs in South African esports. Haven't seen too much of them just yet, but their roster is definitely one to be reckoned with. Kubla in the front line as main tank. Centicle, probably one of South Africa's highest ranking players on the off-tank role. You see a Zarya there, but we know for a fact that he's a Mei main, and that card should be Mei. What I'm actually going to do here, just for you watchers out there, I'm going to make sure that his Mei is known as it should be. And then on the DPS, we do have 20 as well as Leg1 doing extremely well on eN.E.D.E.N, probably one of their newer pickups to the roster, and 20 also an extremely high ranked player. Little fact about 20, number 1 in Osu in South Africa, or better known as OS, a rhythm-based game. Arturia, Grifflet, completing the roster in the support lineup. And Grifflet doing a lot of work over there on the Zenyatta, and Arturia keeping the team alive in the main heals. But as we have the teams moving over to Busan, we're going to be seeing them starting off on Mecha Base. Mecha Base often seen as a very goats heavy map. Perhaps he has the teams playing around a little bit before they actually get ready to go. Just in the waiting. Interesting seeing teams pop this. Initiating match. As match now being initiated. Interested to see what compositions come out. I'm definitely expecting a bit of a Mei Goats, or better known as a Snoats, coming in from the side of eN.E.D.E.N, specifically because of Centicle's proficiency over on the Mei. Although, haven't quite seen them play yet to know what their strategies are. They do have the priority on the map picks, as they were the coin toss winners. So we're going to have to see what they choose over here. Of course, Unidentified have been looking very good, often opting for the Zen Goats or the Honor Goats. And sometimes we've even seen an Ashe come out from them. And definitely what I was expecting here, Centicle over on the Mei. Happy to see it happen. Glad that there's now a composition where it is quite strong compared to what it used to be. And then over on the side of Unidentified, Squishy, I really hope you're going to be coming out with the Torb here, giving us a bit of a show. But they are opting for the Zenyatta Goats over here for Unidentified. As we're going to see both teams coming out of the gates. Moving back to Centicle, he's definitely going to be one of the players to watch. Arturia, keeping them speed boosted, ready to fight them on the high ground. Ooh, a little bit of a dink and a headshot, and both teams going to go with a bit of attrition. Shapeshifter lands a massive charge over onto Kubla with the Mei wall support from Squishy to take him out. Right now, Unidentified, potentially winning the first fight, although we do see a single pick for the side of eN.E.D.E.N, not quite enough. Point unlocking to Unidentified first. Battle starting off on the high ground. Right now, wall already used from Squishy, which means this is now the time for eN.E.D.E.N to start moving forward. They're getting aggressive as Shapeshifter tries to get something with the Shatter, but it's blocked by Kubla. And this is exactly where we can see eN Energy. eN.E.D.E.N move forward over onto the point. Dizzy has a lot of charge, but does end up going down to 20. Landing his shots quite well. Chad Next one to fall as we do see Graviton Surge is ready to go. Unidentified just trying to stall it out a little bit longer on this control point to make sure that they're able to grab it, but down Shapeshifter goes, and the point flips over to Energy.E.D.E.N, not losing a single player in that fray, in that tussle. Ultimates right now, Kubler is going to be ready with the Earth Shatter, playing aggressive. He knows he needs to use it in the next fight. Like Luke has the nano boost. 20, ready with the grab, and Grifflet over with the rally. You're talking about rally. We hear Sponges want to come out, and here's a wall coming out from Squishy with the Graviton Surge on top of it, coming in from 20. Blizzard comes out from Squishy. We also see the sound barrier as well. They want to win this fight, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Arteria very delayed with that one, but we do see Blizzard coming out from the side of Centacle as well. Michaelele popping Transcendence, not finding too much off of that as 20 starts racking up some kills himself for his team. Chad tries to get a sneaky back cap, but Centicle's there waiting for him. Centacle not going to look too good here, but walls off quite a lot of Unidentified as they start moving forward right now. Percentage ticking up to 50% for the side of Energy.E.D.E.N. Kubler knocked down, but not out just yet. Unidentified looking quite low on their health pool. Centacle trying to find a way to get rid of Shapeshifter as he is now antied from Luke. He's playing over here in the support role, doing quite a lot of work keeping Kubler alive, and now playing inside of the grab. Down Dizzy goes as the last player, and looking a bit tough for Unidentified now as they are going to be ticking over 70%. That fight almost looked won for Unidentified, but 20 is just dealing so much damage, and Luke very proficient on the honor right now. And Centacle, of course, can't not talk about his May, is aware of where they're coming out, blocks all of them out except for Chad. Chad does not go down though, as we have Unidentified a potential chance to move forward. There's a Shadow Grifflet as well as Centacle knocked down. Shapeshifter picks up Grifflet with the charge. Kubler's in the front line. Out comes an anti-nade onto Sponge, and Kubler lands a huge shadow, but can he find a way to make it work as he charges in? Only hits a wall because of the boop coming in from Chad. And right now we also hear the Blizzard coming in from Squishy, making sure they cannot back off. Sponge extremely low, and the grab is going to be coming down as right now Energy.E.D.E.N 99% playing really well, positioning from Centacle and Luke, carrying this team fight quite hard with the rest of their front line doing so well on their respective heroes. Down Unidentified goes on Mecha Base. Busan. Now moving over to Sanctuary. Interesting map this. Of course we can still see goats, especially May goats, come out here. But I have been seeing a lot of double sniper, especially in the South African scene. Bit of Ash, bit of Widowmaker, bit of Hanzo, which both teams work extremely well with. Over at the compositions that are potentially coming out of the door. Another Goats-esque composition. Opting to bring out the Diva, as well as the Zenyatta, a traditional Zen Goats. Over onto the side of eN.E.D.E.N though, 20 on the Widowmaker. Hoping to find some heads. Needs to find something quite quick though, as they are going to be sustaining a lot of damage with their composition. 20 needs to get the hell out of here. Trying to find the right composition, no right positioning. Shapeshifter gets slept but gets woken up shortly after Unidentified, wanting to go around the back. Control point unlocking in 2 seconds, as right now eN.E.D.E.N, of course, getting the point first. Down Shapeshifter goes, just too much damage being put onto him in that instant. Teams fighting in the choke here. Alongside Dojo. Moving back, Unidentified playing quite scared, not together as much as they should be, and 20 managing to find a pick as well. Right now the armor pack granted to him from Grifflet, keeping him alive quite well as he finds another shot onto Squishy. Shapeshifter having to run a little bit scared. Grifflet playing aggressive because the rest of his team is allowing it. 20 has the infra sights. Going to be trying to find something. Does not get a shot onto Chad. A little bit too quick, a little bit too nimble. It's not over just yet for Unidentified. 35% over onto Energy.E.D.E.N. Shapeshifter tries to go in but gets slept shortly after from Luke. Kubler swinging in forward, playing very aggressive, gets a shatter onto Shapeshifter. Rest of the team not shattered though, as Kubler looking very low. No kills on the kill feed just yet. Sponge aggressive, getting a stun onto Arturia, but it's not quite enough as Centacle finds the first kill onto Chad, but trades in Kubler for that one. There we have a Graviton Surge picking up 5 of Unidentified. Very delayed Transcendence from Michaelele, but Rally comes out as well from Sponge, and we just see eN.E.D.E.N still picking up kills. Arturia going down, but 20 could potentially still take out Michaelele, who has a lot of health right now from the amount of armor and shields granted to him, but it's not quite enough as 20 is just a beast on the Widowmaker. Now Luke ready with the nano boost. Grifflet is going to be having the rally for the next fight. Dizzy coming up very, very soon on the self-destruct. Hopefully something that he can do with this, as he's taking quite a lot of damage from the side of 20. Needs to find the right way to use it, as we do hear rally coming out from the side of eN.E.D.E.N. Shapeshifter tries to land something, but there comes out the Graviton Surge as well. Lots of damage being applied directly onto eN.E.D.E.N, but Centicle is nano boosted and ready to go with 100 charge. Dizzy gets taking so much damage, and he still has a Graviton Surge. If he does not go down here, he can do so much from it, and he's not even going to use it. They're just fighting dry, knowing that Unidentified have to do so much more than just this push into overtime for eN.E.D.E.N. And Unidentified potentially going to be winning this fight. Then they manage to do so. Michaelele goes down very early to 20. Going to open up all the space they need for the next fight, as 20 manages to get out once again. Ooh, Shadow comes out from Kubler, not quite connecting. Shapeshifter showing his prowess. Grifflet gets taken out very early. And so does 20. Squishy getting sneaky on the Zarya here. Kubler taking a lot of damage, having to back off quite a bit. Centicle. Oh, gets a Shadow in, coming in from Shapeshifter. Arturia doesn't go down. They managed to be kept alive a little bit longer from Luke and Grifflet. Lots of potential healing coming out of them, and it's potential force that they're making kinetic with those heals. 20 needs to start finding some more important shots. He's been doing extremely well, but if he can find it, oh, not quite landing it. Does give us a bit of a mercy. Oh, here comes the Graviton Surge, and here's another one as well from Centicle. Can they find something, as we do here self-destruct in there? Dizzy picks up 2 from the self-destruct, and Unidentified cement their advantage over on Sanctuary Busan. Luke playing a bit scared, kind of kept in spawn, not something that we see happen anytime often for the side of eN.E.D.E.N. Needing to group up once again. Centicle swapping over to the Mei, knowing he can do a little bit more on this compared to what he does on the Zarya. 20 also opting to leave the Mei, going on to Zarya himself. Needs some charge, manages to get quite a bit. Sleep over onto Dizzy, makes it sure that he's extremely low. And Earth Shadow comes out from Shapeshift. He wants Luke, and he doesn't manage to get him. 20 takes him out before long. So close to getting it, but just not quite there. Separated and scared. Unidentified, getting shredded apart from the inside. And they need to find a way to turn this around, as Busan is potentially going over to the side of eN.E.D.E.N in overtime. And there we have it, folks. Very good play from both sides, but of course only one side can win on Busan. 1 map up for eN.E.D.E.N. Well deserved and a good fight. Dizzy, well deserved. Quite a bit of a mess there in the double grab situation, but coming out 2 kills ahead for his side. Unidentified really play to their hearts out and almost find a way to edge that one back. But of course, eN.E.D.E.N taking the win on Nepal, moving over to Escort as our second map type. We're going to have to see what Unidentified chooses as their next map selection. It's either going to be Route 66 or Dorado. And we've seen quite a lot of Route 66 come out of Unidentified this leg. But I mean, up against eN.E.D.E.N, they also have a very strong Route 66. So we're going to have to see where the decision is made, which team wants to go where. And more importantly, once the map is chosen, who's going to be starting on the defense. Just waiting to hear a call from them. This team's potentially trying to bring things back a little bit. 66 is chosen from Unidentified. We'll have to see how this move turns out for them. As I did say, quite a strong Route 66 over on the side of eN.E.D.E.N, but I can say the same for Unidentified. Don't think they've lost a single map on Route 66 just yet. Both teams ready to go as we will soon be entering Route 66.
Traveling to Route 66.
Here we have Big Earl's Diner. As I always mention, welcome to Deadlock Gorge, everybody. Panorama Diner is going to be the location that the attackers will leave spawn from as they move towards the payload that they need to push all the way to the end to complete the map. That is 3 points to complete the map as they enter through Deadlock Gorge and Big Earl's Diner. Big Earl's gas station, my mistake there. They're going to be moving through to the first point's entrance. Once the teams get there, they will be unlocking it and getting a time expansion so they can start pushing forward. As they move through the first point, they'll be entering a nice winding road here, a bit of a banana, that they'll be heading through to the second point, which will unlock for them. Of course, this does give defenders a good high ground point to fight from. And once we complete the second point, we will be heading over to the indoors choke of the Deadlock Rebels. Moving through third point to complete the map. Team to do it in the least amount of time will be taking it and getting the advantage in the extended rounds if we do not see a full hold on one of the points from either side. On the defense first is your team, eN.E.D.E.N, last year's winners at 2018 VSG Comic-Con Championships for Overwatch. And out the gates on the attack comes Unidentified, finishing third last year and looking to make a bang this year as they are also undefeated. Sponge over on the Sombra, needing to find something with this. It's going to be the same strat that we've seen a few times from them. Needs to find the positioning, choose exactly which target they want to take down first. Shapeshifter potentially going to be able to jump in with him. Sponge looking for something like Luke, separated from the team. Sponge does not want to be detected just yet. So we do have the point moving slowly but surely. Kubler wanting to jump down, but not just yet, alongside 20, taking quite a beating. Right now as we do see Shapeshifter popping his bubble. No value granted from Squishy as he goes out of invisibility there. Kubler gets taken down very early though, and now here's where the real brawl starts. Chad extremely low, but he's going to be fighting a little bit longer. 20 dealing quite a bit of damage from the high ground and is hopefully going to be able to find some more of Unidentified, although Hack is going to start coming through as he does pop his personal barrier. Squishy antied taken out from Centicle, who is landing headshot after headshot on this May. Out comes the Graviton Surge already from 20, but he gets taken down from Michaelele there on the Zenyatta. Quite a shame for eN.E.D.E.N as Michaelele is just doing so much damage right now for his team. Look at that, just shredding down Kubler. Centicle, you're next. But is he going to be able to find him? Nope. Blizzard is ready to go for Centicle, but he's probably not going to pop it here as he does end up going down to Shapeshifter and Dizzy. Grifflet, like Luke, last two left on the fight. Grifflet does get hacked though as 20 moves in. Sponge takes a lot of damage, but he doesn't go down just yet. Grifflet still in the fight alongside 20. Arteria playing on the high ground here as Kubler re-enters the battle. Shapeshifter leaps up to the high ground, and we do see EMP coming out for Unidentified alongside their rally and their sound barrier. They're going to be keeping the team alive as they do push forward. Kubler gets hacked and gets a projected barrier, but it's not going to be lasting too long as we do see Centicle coming in through the back. Blizzard make sure Chad is not in the battle any longer. Chad goes down, Centicle goes down too in the trade, and Kubler right now is looking for some more. Hopefully he can get something, but taken out to 6 and still using his Earth Shatter. He goes down, losing his ultimate in this situation, which is not where you want to be. Arteria just stalling out the point as we do see the minutes ticking away. Grifflet coming into the fight as well, and right now Dizzy and Shapeshifter alongside Michael don't have the damage output to deal with them. Hopefully we can see some more stalling, like Luke trying to keep the team alive a little bit longer. Oh my word, the barrier from Shapeshifter making sure that is not the case. Big freeze coming in from Centicle as Michael pops Transcendence to keep his team alive a little bit longer. Not quite able to do so as Squishy continues the onslaught, but Centicle is stalling so well on the May as he does finally go down. Dizzy slept on the high ground, and like Luke backing off in the situation alongside 20. Like Luke goes down, first point goes to Unidentified. 3 minutes 45 on the clock. We're gonna have to see where they can go with this one. Sponge getting very sneaky. Does get stunned though, gets right out of that one. Grifflet, 20. Ready on the ultimate. Kubler, not far behind at all. And Arturia swapping off of the Lucio onto the Zenyatta. Interesting swap with this composition. Not having a Lucio means there's no speed boost for you, but maybe Centicle is what makes that work. Graviton Surge comes down from 20. They're going to jump onto this as soon as possible. And that's a lot of damage from Kubler. That was a crazy fire strike. And Dizzy self-destruct actually takes Kubler and Grifflet down, giving Unidentified a complete turnaround in this fight as they can continue pushing. Or can they? As right now the freeze onto Dizzy. Centicle kept keeping himself alive a little bit longer. Sponge, Michaelele taking a lot of damage from the side of 20 on the Zarya situation. Michaelele goes down by 20, looking extremely low and trapped, body blocked completely from Unidentified's front line. That fight was going so many different directions, but Unidentified coming out on top, and Shapeshifter wanting to hold them back does get anti-naded. He cannot be healed when his health bar is purpled. And oh my word, the play from Shapeshifter keeping Kubler's Earthshatter out of the fight. Absolutely mental play. Grifflet comes in with a nano boost. Chad popping his sound barrier in the situation. Rally comes out as well, and they're hoping to keep it together, but right now Grifflet popping his rally as well. Blizzard comes out from Centicle playing on the point right now, and Ed.E.N are hoping to make something work with this, although we do see them falling one by one, not able to play together here. Losing that Lucio does not allow you to regroup with your team as much as you want to, and Centicle wants to stall a little bit longer, popping the ice block. Sponge just pummeling his ice block with pellets, but it's not quite enough in this situation, as we do see Unidentified pushing it over to the second point. They're not giving up without a fight. Dizzy demeched, hoping to get his mech back soon. Latest addition to Unidentified, previously playing for teams such as Prodigy. And there we go. Teams grouping together. Wrecking Ball swap from the side of Centicle off of his Mei, thinking he could possibly do more here. Lots of places for him to run. Pile Driver onto the backline. Michaelele goes down, and 20 follows up with a Graviton Surge, removing their backline from the fight. And there is nothing of Unidentified left after that happens. Sponge, of course, finding Arturia, but he's going to be resurrected before long. Centicle wants to get Dizzy out the mech, and he manages to do so, which is absolutely massive. The amount of stalling that happens off of that is crazy. And Sponge having to just get out of there with the translocator. Has EMP ready. There's a huge hack onto 20, who falls down shortly after. Time to kill in these matches is extremely small, and then the EMP comes out. Kubler can't do much, but we do see Arturia not in the line of sight of the EMP, and does pop Transcendence, keeping his team alive in the situation. EMP not getting the value required to get, and both teams playing very aggressive, as we see Centicle trying to get something there, but he gets taken down in absolutely no time. Right now, Lykaluk swapping over to the Soldier, wanting to find something off of this, but he gets taken out from Shapeshifter and Michaelele, dealing too much damage to them. Right now, Unidentified are looking so good. However, Centicle's going to be coming in with a Minefield. Pops Minefield, here comes the Pile Driver, is going to get a lot of damage. Michaelele, though, and Dizzy all popping their ultimates. Centicle goes down, and they have so much healing coming out from the side of their team right now. That sound barrier was absolutely perfect with the Transcendence, but I don't know how long they can keep it together. 20 already getting his dragon so quickly, but it's not enough as he gets taken down. Very good completion from the side of Unidentified. Looking very good at the moment. Minute 30 on the clock. Flipping sides. Ed.E.N are going to be over on the attack now. We'll have to see if they are able to one-up Unidentified, or if Unidentified are going to be able to bring out a full hold of sorts. We've seen it before. Nothing saying we won't see it again. This team's, of course, assembling their heroes. I do want to see some more DPS play from the side of Ed.E.N. 20 swapping over to the Hanzo and getting that ultimate extremely swiftly. We'll be seeing what comes out the gates for Unidentified. We have Chad over on Mercy, Sponge on Brigida, Dizzy, Shapeshifter in the front line, and Squishy opting for the Pharah, which makes sense of Chad's pick over onto the Mercy. Michaelele over onto the Honor. Potentially expecting a similar Goats composition.
I'm ready for action.
Snoats, Zen Goats, maybe. However, not sure if they're ready for 20 playing Ashe. Gonna have to see if he sticks to it or if he's gonna be swapping off. Like a Luke, very prepared to run Bastion here, or reset to keep them alive, and Tentacle to dive. Very Not a composition I'm used to. I'm interested to see if they swap off or if they stick to it. Grifflet over on the Honor. They do have Honor Mercy. Damage boost onto 20. The potential of damage right now on 20 is absolutely insane. He can land some headshots. He's going to be doing extremely well. And of course, Ash, very good counter to Pharah, with Squishy is on right now. But of course, Squishy is aware of the playstyle from Energy.E.D.E.N. They know how well they can play together. Has to play very careful in the sky. And 20 takes out Chad to start it off. It's going to be finding some more. Squishy, very low, but not finding the shots just yet. Playing positioning really well from 20. Shapeshifter is going to get absolutely shredded here as soon as he drops down. Oh, he's kept alive a little bit longer. Michaelele landing an absolutely insane biotic grenade. And 20 is just in the fight right now, in the fray. Arteria coming with the cheeky res, manages to land it onto Luke as well as escaping the situation. Michaelele tries to land asleep, but not quite getting it. As we do see biotic grenade anti Luke taking him down. Squishy right now in the sky, giving Grifflet a lot of trouble, but he's not going down just yet. As we do see Arteria playing very well, keeping him alive. Point not moving as the rest of Unidentified play on the point. Big shield from the side of Shapeshifter, making sure that no sleep is landed. And 20 needs to start finding something over here. Sponge going to be popping Rally extremely soon. Arteria ready with the Valkyrie. 20, Dizzy wants to deal with him a little bit. But 20 needs to start finding the shots. He took out Chad once, but he needs to do it again. Has Bob ready. Here comes Dynamite, Squishy. Manages to land a direct shot over on Senticle, swapping over to the Mei. And here's the Rally coming out from Unidentified, trying to keep the team alive. From Sponge, Senticle taking a lot of damage, and Luke, of course, swapping over to the Pharah. Big shadow that is completely nullified from the side of Senticle, and Bob is hiding behind that wall of ice. Absolutely crazy play from Energy. Oh my word, that is some 500 IQ play we see here. Shapeshifter comes to with another charge, not quite landing it. Getting nano boosted, antied, and slept all at the same time. And Luke comes with an absolutely massive rocket barrage, picking up 3. And here, Energy.E.D.E.N are going to be able to push this a little bit further. Sponge delayed a little bit over there on the point. Potentially not going to be able to stop them here. Minute, 30 seconds on the clock as we do push forward to the first point. Squishy needs to start finding some serious shots here. Has Rocket Barrage. Needs to outdo the side of Energy.E.D.E.N. Can't allow Luke to get any more of those Rocket Barrages. But we do see Sponge. Right now, insurance on that as he switches over to the Widowmaker. Playing the sightlines very well. Ooh, almost getting Luke, and he manages to, but of course, 20 over on the Widowmaker as well. Manages to take out another. Luke getting picked right back up. Extreme back and forth from both sides. Just battle of attrition right now. Seeing whose resources can be used the most. As 20 gets slept right now. Shapeshifter comes in with a charge. That leaves the rest of his team completely open. There's no shield for the rest of the team. Squishy, Luke still in the air. 20 and Sponge matching each other. Down goes Michaelele. This is a big opening for the side of Energy.E.D.E.N. Although Sponge lighting up the kill feed right now. Both teams quite even. And Rocket Barrage from Squishy taking out 2 and making sure that there is no way that Energy.E.D.E.N can get through this. Although Arteria, oh my word, is going to be coming out with the, oh, so close. Actually manages to get the res. Valkyrie put to good use, getting 20 back up 20. If 20 can clutch this, Squishy not going down just yet. Trying to find a way out of this as we do see Senticle switching over to the Wrecking Ball. Wants to get some more work out of this using his barrier in the situation. But right now, 2 minutes, 20 left on the clock. And point is not moving all that much for the side of Energy.E.D.E.N. Squishy not going down just yet. 20 still trying to find the shots, not quite landing on Squishy. So close yet so far. Has Infrasights ready to go though as Sponge almost lands the shot. Oh, both Widowmakers so close to getting each other and just not quite landing as Kubler starts playing forward, wants to take out Sponge. Sponge goes very low. Luke does have nano boost as well as the rocket barrage. If he finds a way to use it onto Shapeshifter, who's also nano boosted, this could open up everything. And right now, all he needs is his normal hit. Luke still in the sky, still trying to find some more. Chad playing extremely scarce in the air there, and 20 cleans that one up as Energy.E.D.E.N are going to be completing the second point on Route 66. Centacle on the Wrecking Ball. We've seen him do great things with it already. Opting for the high ground, wants to make use of that pile driver like it was before. Although, Sponge doesn't want to deal with any of this. Still on the Widowmaker. Watching those sight lines very carefully, but still taking some damage. 20. Not opting to swap off either. Ooh, playing very, very aggressively. But Shapeshifter does get slept. He's hoping for some more right now. Arteria popping. Valkyrie once again. There's self-destruct from Kubler. There's no shield. Oh my word. Squishy. So close to the shield, but so far away. Does end up going down. Not having the Brigitte here could spell doom as Arteria picks up Michaelele, who's the DPS support now. But losing Valkyrie in that trade. And the chase comes down onto Sponge. A Centacle picks him up. Having the minefield ready to go. Like Luke. Still comfortable in the Pharaoh. Supports from both sides playing out of their minds. We see the minefield. Pile driver combo come out right now. Dizzy comes in with self-destruct, removing some of the mines. Not picking up anyone as 20 picks up 2 headshots in that little bit of time. Like Luke comes down as well with the rocket barrage as they are distracted and unidentified. Are starting to find a bit of a struggle here. They need to stall this one out as they are moving. Oh my word, Squishy pops rally but gets taken down shortly after. And Michaelele, even switching to Mora, is not able to connect to the payload. Both teams quite even in these fights. 20 playing out of his mind right now. 134 to 129. It's as close as it can get here.
Initiating match.
Both teams definitely feeling some sweat on their brows. Eden up one map that we saw before over on Busan. So we're going to have to see exactly what changes up here. Not too sure if composition is going to change, if they're going to stick to it. If we're going to be seeing a Torbjorn on defense for Eden. Which it looks like we are. Oh, this is exactly what I want to see. 20 on his Hanzo. He says his Widowmaker's his signature, but we've seen him do a lot of work on the Hanzo where he decides to swap back over to the Zarya. Still doing very well on that. Arteria, like Luke, filling up the support roles in their Ana and their Zenyatta. Grifflet, ready to go on the Brigitte, playing very well on Brigitte so far. Actually, go back to base. Opting to switch over. Potentially a Lucio, and Lucio is exactly what we see coming out from him. As over on the attack, nothing has changed for the side of Unidentified. They trust this composition and they're ready to go with it.
I'm on the payload and moving up.
Enemy turret.
Sponge, aware of the turret. Definitely communicating with his team. If he can find a sightline onto Arteria where the turret doesn't affect him, a lot can happen with it. Sponge potentially wants to deal with Like Luke. Rest of the team moving in bit by bit. Like Luke knows that Sponge is definitely a target. As he finds him scoped, he wants to get that shot, and he does take him down, but 20 picks up Chad in the fray happening over on the point. Right now, turret actually doing quite a bit of work, making sure that they can't push from that, especially without a shield tank. Right now, Squishy is the best they have in defense, unless we do see Dizzy dive onto the turret, although Sponge is looking to make some work out of it. Getting out of there, Arteria. A little bit scared, knows he's there, but not quite where. Grifflet, trying to find the right spot to fight on Shapeshifter, putting his shield forward, but that turret is actually doing a lot of damage. Michaelele takes the turret down, but Centacle pops his overload, wanting to find something out of it, as we do see kill feed. Not doing too much just yet. Kubler getting a lot of work with that shield out, but Shapeshifter dives forward. Kubler also pops his charge, doesn't find Chad, but there we go. Incoming 20 with his Graviton Surge, keeping them together, but Michaelele keeps them alive a little bit longer with Transcendent Molten Core all the way over the point. That's lava you do not want to touch, as Unidentified are going to be continuing forward on the point. 20 has a lot of charge, but he needs to find a way to connect with it. Targeting Dizzy very hard, but not quite able to get the right shots in. Not able to land all the damage he needs as Shapeshifter goes absolutely wild on the Winston over there, as it doesn't look like he's going to be lasting too long. Sponge still on the Sombra, finds Kubler mid-charge, and it's actually reached it. They weren't able to touch. This makes it a little bit difficult for Eden going as they progress through the map. Overtime, of course, for Unidentified. They're setting up how far eN.E.D.E.N needs to push on the crackback, but right now, in overtime, just one winning fight for eN.E.D.E.N. That seems to be what they're saving up for. 5 ultimates in the back. Tentacle coming up on his one soon as well. Sponge does have EMP, but they need to find a way to combo it. Potentially, Dizzy can come in with self-destruct, but if they leave the point for too long. Earth Shatter comes in from Kubler, and oh my word, it's going to be absolutely massive as we do see Dizzy coming in with self-destruct. Defiant Tentacle's turret, but it's not quite enough as we hear Sound Barrier coming out from the side of Grifflet. Then there's a lot of damage over on the point onto Dizzy and Shapeshift Arteria popping. The Transcendence, they know that they have the economy to fight this fight the way that they are, and Kubler comes in with another Earth Shatter. Down goes Michaelele, and there we have it. Not even halfway towards second point just yet. And eN.E.D.E.N managing to hold back unidentified in overtime. However, it's not down and out for unidentified just yet.
Initiating match.
Both teams, as I've said, neck and neck, undefeated in the current leg. It looks like the gap that we saw last year from eN.E.D.E.N and other teams is lessening bit by bit. Unidentified not playing around now. Revitalized roster, Shapeshifter back in the main tank role, and Dizzy as a new addition. Training up Dizzy as much as they can.
Ready for battle.
Looking quite good at the moment. Although, it's not down and out just yet. Can't say that Unidentified is much of a contender until we see what the scoreboard reflects. Team playing very well, but eN.E.D.E.N still one map up and looking to potentially have the upper leg on Unidentified on Route 66.
What do you think you're doing?
Compositions coming out of the gates here. Sponge over onto the Ash. Dizzy not swapping off that Diva at all, even after her nerf to her defense matrix. But Sponge is ready to go on the Ash. 20. Seeing him on Widowmaker here makes me extremely happy.
You must like me.
Potentially delaying his entrance a little bit like Luke. Over on the Sombra. Hacking the health pack, but having to wait for his visibility now. 20 needs to find a kill. Is damage boosted. Right now, Shapeshifter doing a lot of work over there with the bubble. Centacle in the back. Over on the Wrecking Ball. Interested to see how this team composition pans out for them. And that's a really big... That's a lot of work from Centacle. There, Sponge goes down. 20. Opening everything up for the rest of his team. As he effortlessly clicks ahead there. He's looking for some more. Shapeshifter goes down. Michaelele not looking too healthy there. Centacle on the ball. Finds some more. Michaelele is one of the last players running a bit scared. Very quick and clinical play coming in from eN.E.D.E.N. Bit of an interesting ult, making sure that Unidentified cannot enter from this point, although Firestrike makes sure that they potentially can, as they do pick up the first point over on Route 66. Round 4. 20. Looking to get some more heads. Oh, but shields are proving quite a lot of an issue for him. Arteria gets Tentacle back up. He's going to make sure Wrecking Ball can do some work here. Shapeshifter playing a little bit scared. Squishy comes in with the rally, and here we go. EMP comes in from Like a Luke, making sure Unidentified can't do much. Tentacle is just shredding right through them as 20 is the one picking up the kills for their side. And it's looking like a bit of a massacre as we enter overtime. It's not over yet for Unidentified, as we do here. Michaelele popping the Transcendence. Tentacle playing in the backline, wanting to heal Sponge, who has a lot of charge right now. And out comes a self-destruct from... Oh my word, it does not connect. It's a little bit too high. That is so upsetting as Dizzy comes in with his own self-destruct into a gravitational surge, not finding anything either. But Sponge, Michaelele just lighting up the kill feed together as Arteria, 20 and Tentacle do go down, fighting on the point. And Unidentified looking so good on Route 66. As soon as I thought that they were down and out to eN.E.D.E.N's push, they held them at the choke of the first point. Very good. For Unidentified, putting themselves on the scoreboard. Very impressive plays from both sides. We're going to have to see what our third map is going to look like as we move over to the Assault map pool. Choices being Hanamura, Volskaya. We've seen a bit of everything from the side of Unidentified, of course, Eden. Have to see where they want to go with this one, as dropping Route 66 does mean they get their map selection. I like the compositions that we did see come out of that one. Lots of Widow play, a lot of Ashe play, of course, the latest addition to the Overwatch hero pool. And Wrecking Ball coming out as well, especially Centicle doing a lot of work with it, but not quite enough to what we saw from the side of Unidentified. Interesting to see the possibility of more Hanzo from both Sponge as well as 20. I would love to see what they can do with that. Say both of those signature heroes for that, or the signature hero for both of those players. Although doing so much work on Widowmaker from both teams, 20 just popping off multiple times. Identified probably feeling very good about their win on Route 66 though. Might see something special depending on what our third map is going to be. Just going to see if players want to take a quick break. Looks like they're opting for a 5-minute break quickly. So, I'm going to put on a little video for you guys. Welcome back everybody as we make a move over to Hanamura, heading over to Japan for our third map. Teams 1-1 between E.N.E.D.E.N and ATK.unIdentified. After an interesting side over on Busan, we did see a very close Route 66 that ATK.unIdentified came out on top of. Hanamura being the first or second map pick for the side of E.N.E.D.E.N. after taking a loss on Route 66.
Ready for battle.
Hanamura, interesting map here, Assault. Better known, or more colloquially known, as 2CP. 2 capture point map. Often seen as the most strategic of maps to play on, as lots of strategies can arise in how you take the point and how you defend it. The time it takes to grab a point, the time it takes to reach your second point with the respawns that your opposition gets to utilize. Looking over at the team compositions here, Centacle once again on the Mei. Can't give him anything else but love for mastering that character. Coming out of the gates, we do see Zen Goats from the side of Unidentified opting to go through the right side. Want to make sure that they don't take as much damage for the start of the map. Right now, Centacle needs to find a way to use it, but he lets too many players through, as we do see. That is 5 of Unidentified get through, but Shapeshifter is going to be taking a lot of damage. Kubel picks up Squishy regardless, and Dizzy is playing to the top there. Interesting seeing Centacle let that many through and them still coming out on top of that fight. Right now, Ultimate Charge looking very good for Kubler, almost on 60%. And Chad, Squishy opting to swap over to the Far Mercy combo, knowing that they need to find a way to deal with this. And that's exactly what they're going to try and do, as 20 playing on the high ground on his Zarya at a point on full charge there. And of course, ticking down little by little. They need to find the right entrance to take here for Unidentified, or they will struggle against Tentacle's Mei. Squishy, damage boosted from Chad. No hit scan on the side of E.N.E.D.E.N. makes it a little bit difficult to take out Squishy and Chad, as we do see Squishy going into the backline wanting to take out Arturia, but he's taking quite a lot of damage from this one. Kubler knocked down but not out just yet, as we see Sponge going first, kicking the bucket there as Dizzy tries to escape without his mech. Michaelita picks up Grifflet though, as a bit of a brawl happens in the back here. Squishy still trying to find Arturia, but 20 makes sure that his reign is over, or his life is over before he's able to rain down. Graviton Surge ready to go for 20, wanting to back off as soon as possible. So right now, Unidentified just strolling over onto the point. E.N.E.D.E.N wanting to back off and regroup. They want to contest this point together as a team. Anthony comes down onto Dizzy and Michaelita. Michaelita is very low, but there's a Shatter coming out, as we do see a Graviton Surge from the side of E.N.E.D.E.N within a Blizzard. Michaelita popping Transcendence to make sure he does not get affected by that and to keep his team alive, but they're not able to do it too much, as only one tick is over for Unidentified. 20 trying to pick up some more. He is always on full charge on the Zarya here. Michaelita is going to get shredded down very quickly, alongside Tentacle landing the freeze. Lakaluk still ready to go on the Nano Boost. Kubler very close to another Shatter, although we can see a bit of a similarity. Shapeshifter ready on the Shadow. Chad, Valkyrie is going to be coming out soon, hopefully able to work alongside Squishy with the Rocket Barrage. Although Lakaluk might be looking for a bit of a sleep, is aware of where Squishy is trying to play alongside Chad. Not landing the shots, as we do see Tentacle goes down extremely early. This is the time for Squishy to shine, but the charge and the Shatter from Kubler is just a little bit too much, as Squishy's not able to do enough in the backline, whilst the rest of his team has gone down and out. Chad, Squishy need to play this a little bit safe, but they want to try and find something off of it, as we do hear Announcer giving us some knowledge. 60 seconds left on the clock. Lakaluk taking a defensive position here, as 20 tries to get some damage down and on to the side of Squishy. Sponge switching over to his signature hero on Hanzo, hoping to find some picks but struggling. But Kubler's shield looking quite low, but Grifflet playing forward. Shapeshifter comes with the Shatter, knocking down 2. Kubler thrown up against the wall, but he gets taken out in no time because of Kubler's Nano Boost, and Squishy still unable to use his Rocket Barrage effectively. Needs to start finding a spot to use this. Unidentified are starting to tick it away. 20 comes in with a massive Graviton Surge onto Squishy as well as Chad, and this is looking very deadly for Unidentified. Michaelele wants to keep Sponge alive a little bit longer. We do see self-destruct from Dizzy, not quite hitting the mark as he looks for some more. Can Sponge find some kills? But it looks like he's getting extremely low, and E.N.E.D.E.N.'s 20 is playing as we know him to, carrying the team's damage, and that is a full hold on point 1 Hanamura. Only 1 tick for Unidentified.
Initiating
Extremely good showing from EN.E.D.E.N. We can see exactly why they opted for Hanamura over Volskaya Industries. Right now, EN.E.D.E.N. looking quite at home around the Sakura Blossoms in Japan. Although, not down and out just yet. If Unidentified can find a way to match this, we might see a bit more play. Could be very interesting, but not sure if they're going to be able to. It's a tough hill to climb, but it's not like they're down and out just yet.
ready for battle.
So we do see Unidentified on the defense. Sponge, Dizzy, Brigitte, Zarya, Squishy. Over on the Mei, Sponge. Chilling on the Brigitte and Shapeshifter, of course. Sticking to his Reinhardt. Maikalele making sure he's on the Zen.
How can you even pick up all that weight?
I lift as well as I lift because it cannot be avoided.
Lots of pressure on the side of Unidentified right now. They need to find a way to make this work. Chad on the Lucia. Completing the composition that they're playing with.
5, 4, 3, 2.
And we see Maygoats once again, bit of snoats for the side of EN.E.D.E.N. Senticle trying to use his Ice Block to block out any Fire Strike from Shapeshifter, but he's not playing that aggressively at the start of this fight. Kubler pushing forward is discorded though, and here he's trapped. Oh my word, he does manage to get the stun down onto Shapeshifter, but it's not quite enough as Grifflet does fall in the trade. 20, looking quite low. Kubler just backing off from this wall. Ooh, and down Senticle goes. Right now, Squishy, not wanting to let EN.E.D.E.N. get anywhere near. Interesting play, jumping around a lot with the Icicle. Hopefully trying to find a way to make that work. So you can see, just patiently waiting for the right target to walk past his Ice Wall to extend it. Senticle left on his own, but now they have to fight him inside that small choke, and there we go, walls himself off. He knows that that's the entrance for his team. Shapeshifter, massive charge onto Grifflet, and down comes the Earth Shatter. 20, Lykaluk knocked down, and Kubler falling completely. Once again, a very nice hold from Unidentified. Could be a little bit tough right now. No one on the ultimates just yet. Maikalele very close to Transcendence. Lykaluk also close to his Nano Boost. Although offensive ultimates coming up. Senticle very close to his Blizzard. Going to be able to do a lot of work with it, but Squishy even closer. Senticle just runs right through. They know that they can just ignore him as they block out the rest of the team. Martyria is probably going to try to find a way into that. And Maikalele playing on his own against Senticle. Waiting for the Ice Ball to go. Almost finding shots on Senticle, but Ice Block comes out just in time. There's a big charge from Kubler. Not quite getting a kill, but allows for Dizzy to get taken down quite early. Over here, they just have to let it tick a little bit, and there we go. The damage from 20 and Kubler together. Earthshatter enabling 20 to just play out of his mind. And there we go. Knocked off the map from Arteria. And EN.E.D.E.N. are going to be taking Hanamura for the win here on map 3.
Victory.
Looking a lot stronger than what we saw in the previous maps.
Play of the game.
Unidentified, of course. We did see quite a bit from them. They did not miss a beat, although EN.E.D.E.N. just a little bit more on the rhythm. Able to show up and lead themselves over to 2-1. Of course, moving over to the 4th map now, it is going to be our hybrid. Looking a little bit tough right now for Unidentified. Although, not done out just yet. Did manage to pull Route 66 out from underneath Eden. Of course, now getting the map choice over on the hybrid. Choices are Numbani, Blizzard World. As we do see Unidentified opting for Blizzard World, as we have seen them do before. Not a map we see too much of. But they have been playing extremely well on it. We'll have to see who comes out on top on the 4th map. Eden. If they take Blizzard World, they are going to be taking the series 3-1, but Unidentified can definitely see them turning this one around, coming in with the win of Blizzard World and taking Eden over to the 5th map. Not something we haven't seen before. As we head through Stormwind and try to see who can take Blizzard World. I'm very interested to see where this one goes. First point over here. Once you do unlock it, a normal capture point will be held, and then the escorting begins as the payload comes out from the gates. Once we move through the first gate, we're going to be coming past the siege tank of StarCraft 2 through Pylon Terrace, just around the gap here as we do head to Reign of the Black King with the second point in that circle there. As you head down into Reign of the Black King, you're going to be seeing quite a rigid choke to go through, and the third point over there, high ground, not utilized too often for defenders, more so on the side of the attackers, but there's a lot of room for defenders to play in or get trapped in if your attackers are playing very aggressively. Looking at the team compositions here, Kubler back onto Reinhardt. 20 on the Zarya as we've seen him for most of the night. Like Luke Arteria, filling up that back line over on the Lucio and the Ana. Grifflet in the front line alongside Centicle, who is opting for the recently buffed Reaper. Interesting position as well that he wants to play from. Wants to make sure he can jump down onto the side of Unidentified, as they are going to be entering through with a Zen Goats composition. Shapeshifter in the front line. They're not quite finding Centicle yet, but I think they know of his location now, as he is going to be dropping down. He's going to be trying to find some shots, and that's a lot of damage over onto Squishy, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, as Wraithform is going to be used. Doesn't remove him from the fight as he's right back into it. He wants to find some more as 20 lands a D-Mech on Dizzy, and Centicle does go down from the shield bash of Sponge, and this is where Unidentified can potentially get quite a big advantage, although the Fire Strike from Kubler notices the Shapeshifter just being a little bit low and takes him out before he's able to do anything. Might need to see a little bit more from the supports on the side of Unidentified to keep Shapeshifter alive. It's not the first time he's gone down like this. Although, Eden playing very well. Squishy getting slept, but the personal barrier makes sure that Grifflet's shield bash doesn't do much. Dizzy gets the kill onto Like Luke. Grifflet goes down as well, and Kubler falls to Dizzy as well. Centicle over on the Reaper, just taken down in absolutely no time, although both sides have suffered an insurmountable amount of losses. As we do see Unidentified still coming out on top in this fight. Centicle sticking over to the Reaper. Kubler wanting to play quite far forward. They could still potentially work with this. They want to find a way to deal with the situation. They're going to be holding the points a little bit longer. Earthshatter comes down. There we go. Chad goes down. Squishy gets knocked down as well, and Chad is the one who takes the loss in that situation. Grifflet back in the fight alongside Arteria. Down comes the Graviton Surge from Squishy. Lots of charge, but Grifflet just is not falling down. Shapeshifter lands a shadow onto Centicle like Luke, but there's no follow-up whatsoever as he falls to the side of Kubler's Hammer and 20's Beam Cannon. Oh, Squishy. So close yet so far. Look how close they are on the ticks. They're almost getting the third tick, but having to settle with just two. Like Luke, ready with a nano boost for the next encounter. Although, looking at the side of Unidentified, Dizzy can potentially get a lot of work with the self-destruct, but they're going to be pushing a little bit further forward. Energy are not holding out whatsoever. They want to make sure that they see Unidentified suffer and struggle. Although, once again, not down and out just yet. Can potentially get something out of this. My mistake, Dizzy was demeched. He only got his mech back. No self-destruct. Oh no, now he's demeched. What am I on about? 20. Does have Graviton Surge ready to go alongside. Could with the Earth Shadow, if they chain that correctly. I cannot see much coming for Unidentified as Chad enters in with the sound barrier. There comes the Graviton Surge shortly after the Earth Shadow. Kubler is nano boosted and wants to find some more as he fills up that kill feed alongside 20. And Squishy is the last one to go down for the side of Unidentified, with Dizzy running scared. A minute left on the clock. Spelling doom potentially for Unidentified. on their choice of Blizzard World. Of course, Eden, this is their match point. If they can take Blizzard World, they're going to be taking the series 3-1 and ending Unidentified's undefeated reign on Leg 1 and sustaining their own. Senticle wants to stall them out. Does have Blizzard ready. Needs to find a way to utilize it without getting eaten by the Graviton Surge. There comes the Graviton Surge from Squishy, but they need to play more aggressively into this. Grifflet goes down. Dizzy comes to self-destruct. Picks up 2! 20! Left alone and scared with Arturia right next to him. Like Luke is going to have to jump down, but Dizzy makes sure that he can't do anything with his boosters. Making sure that Like Luke goes down. 12 seconds left on the clock, and we're going to be seeing Unidentified taking the first point of Blizzard World. 2 minutes, 35 seconds on the clock now. And there is so much for Unidentified to push through here. But Eden sitting on no ultimates. Makelele is ready to go with the Transcendence. And they're not playing forward at all on the side of Eden. Which allows for Sponge to sneakily swap over to the Bastion. Could find some struggle in the composition, of course. Look at that damage coming out. Not quite enough, though, as a very awkward halt coming in from the side of Shapeshifter. Sponge getting a kill onto 20, making sure they can't get that much damage. But that is the biggest anti-nade I've seen in a while. Tentacle jumping down, using the ice block, but Sponge is going to be finding something. Kubler takes him to town, and out he goes. Surprised to see Kubler survive that situation, but Kubler won't be lasting much longer. Shapeshifter playing aggressively on top of him. Arturia wants to push the point, or defend the point for that matter, but Unidentified playing very well. And Dizzy using his boosters so efficiently to keep Like a Luke out of the high ground. Squishy plays forward, looking for something, but right now, Eden are going to be able to grab the high ground. 20 very close to the Graviton Surge. If he's able to find the right location to use it, Kubler can follow up with so much from the Earth Shatter, and that's exactly what he does. 20 following up with that, but Makelele popping Transcendence. They want to find something. Kubler using the Nano Boost right now, and Sponge is dealing with Grifflet in the room, who is not holding up whatsoever. Such a struggle for Unidentified, as we do once again see Eden taking out the fight. Minute left on the clock now for Unidentified, as Dizzy backs off in the situation. Grifflet good to go with another rally. Senticle on the Blizzard, and Kubler sitting on the Earth Shatter, hoping to see something more from this. This man is chaining Earth Shatter after Earth Shatter all time. Sponge swapping over to the Pharah, hoping to find the right entrance into this, playing very high up, and he takes out Arturia, making sure that there's no sound barrier. And there we go, Kubler lands the Shatter onto Shapeshifter as well as Dizzy. They do fall down, and Shapeshifter goes down with them. Kubler still playing very aggressively in the fight line, and it's working for him as he defends the point a little bit longer. Lots of battles happening on the high ground. Sponge potentially going to be able to find something more from this 20, having a lot of charge, and there we go. Shapeshifter making sure that Kubler can't do anything as they do start moving the point, moving the payload to the second point. Arturia comes in with the sound barrier, makes sure 20 is alive alongside Senticle. 20 tries to find Dizzy with 100 charge, although Earth Shatter from Shapeshifter making sure that Senticle and 20 are knocked down and out of the fight. 20 falls. Kubler back in the fight, finds Makelele, but the point has already made it to the second checkpoint. Kubler backing off a little bit scared. Squishy anti-nated, but not down and out just yet. An interesting trade between Sponge and Like a Luke, but right now I think that the advantage is still over on the side of Unidentified, as they get some free push here without any sort of contesting from Eden. Grifflet over the Soldier, switching back, however, to the Brigitte. Like Luke, ready to go with the Nano Boost. Kubler playing a little bit scared from what he's seen of Sponge. Definitely aware that he has the Rocket Barrage ready to go in this situation. Of course, no Bastion means that they don't have to worry about the front line, but right now in the air, Like Luke needs to find a way to deal with Sponge in the air, and there he goes. 20 Nano boosted, wanting to deal a lot of damage, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Has Graviton Surge, knows that Dizzy right now does have Defense Matrix on cooldown, but Sponge comes from the back and makes sure that they can keep this push alive, picking up 3 kills with Rocket Barrage. Tentacle is the last one left on the point. Eden, Like Luke, running around a little bit scared as the point is just moving forward, so aggressive, but yep, Blizzard comes out. However, is it going to be enough? Kubler switching over to the Diva. Gets demeched in absolutely no time from Squishy, but we're going to be seeing a potential resurgence from eN.E.D.E.N as Shapeshifter sneaks into the back and lands an absolute massive shadow that Dizzy is able to follow up with the rest of the team. And here we have a map completion for Unidentified. Round 1 going extremely well for ATK.unIDentified. Looking a little bit shaky on the first point, turning it around very well. eN.E.D.E.N keeping them on their toes in overtime. However, not down and out just yet. Overtime makes things a little bit tough for Unidentified, although eN.E.D.E.N potentially looking to end tonight's series as soon as possible. However, are they going to be able to do that against Unidentified? Not too sure, as if they do complete this point, they're going to be going to round 3. Interested to see what defensive compositions comes out of Unidentified. Are we going to be seeing a similar composition to what they have been running up till now? Or are they going to change it up a little bit?
Ready for battle.
Coming out of the gates, Sponge wanting to stick to the Mei, but interesting composition they're running with, because they're also running the Far Mercy combo. They want to find everything they can to deal with the side of eN.E.D.E.N. Not having a Brigitte here, playing a 2-2-2 composition. 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 support. Not something we see too often competitively here in Overwatch. But Goats, Snoats, May Goats coming out of the side of eN.E.D.E.N. 20 in the front line with Grifflet once again, needing to find an entrance onto the point. Michael already getting quite a lot of damage over to 20, but Grifflet keeping him up. Centicle opting to go from the right side, looking for where these missiles are coming down from, backing off to behind Kubla's shield. They need to play patiently for this one, as they're actually giving us a full retreat here. eN.E.D.E.N know that they need to change up their composition to deal with this, and that's what they're doing as soon as possible. 20 swapping over to the Widowmaker, knowing that this is exactly what they need. Squishy falls. Chad is going to be the next target for Squishy. Does get the res onto Squishy though, giving them back the utilization of the Pharaoh, but they've already lost a lot of time, a lot of position from this trade. And 20 is going to look for more, although getting absolutely showered with projectile. Squishy finds 20 as the rest of their team is struggling quite a bit from Kubla and 20. Well, Kubla and Centicle playing quite aggressively in the front line. Centicle actually, I would say, probably the stronger Zarya between 20 and himself, although not able to do too much for Unidentified side, like Luke picking up the last kill. The first point going to eN.E.D.E.N very swiftly. Shapeshifter thinking of trying to duel this a little bit longer, but not going to last, as we do see Kubla landing the charge, getting the pin. 20 knows what's coming, wants to deal with it, as we don't see any swaps on the side of Unidentified.
I am moving the payload. Fall in with me.
20 waiting to see someone enter the high ground. Very patient play from the side of Unidentified as they try to regroup. Although 20 is not going to allow for that. He knows exactly what to expect. Sees the top of Dizzy. Sees Shapeshift, doesn't want to take the shots just yet. And also sees Sponge, knows exactly what their composition is. Knows that they haven't swapped off much. Although needs to find Squishy. Gets a body shot, but can he follow up a little bit further? Looks like he's going to struggle with this, as Chad is doing so much to keep Squishy alive. And a huge shadow from the side of Kubla. Shapeshifter falling due to that. Quite scared. Sponge on the Mei. Pops the ice block extremely soon. Right now 20 does have the infra sights ready to go. Trying to find Squishy. Oh, a few body shots. Manages to get it mid-air, and there we go. He's following up for some more. It's just a shooting range at this point for 20. Although not done and out for Unidentified just yet, as we do see eN.E.D.E.N taking second point. 5.5 minutes left on the clock, but ultimates on the side of Unidentified could play a big role into keeping this one alive. Sponge is ready to go on the Blizzard, playing very scared right now. Senticle giving him a little bit of a wave, but a BM goes quite far to the mental state of your opponents. Very welcomed and a very good tool to utilize. Squishy has the Rocket Barrage, does have the damage boost. 20 is not aware of him being there just yet. And if he can land a good angle, there's going to be a lot of work that comes from that. But here's Blizzard coming in from the side of unidentified. 20 falls to that, and Squishy following up, but getting slept. Arteria wants to group him off, but here we do see another Graviton Surge self-destruct coming in from Dizzy. Finds like a Luke, and Senticle is trying to do some more work as he's coming in with a lot of charge. Dizzy running a little bit scared. Chad falls as he flies by. Right now, Energy.E.D.E.N look like they're a force to be reckoned with. This is match point for Energy.E.D.E.N as unidentified. Need to regroup this. Grifflet giving a little bit of a goodbye as we do see Dizzy get knocked off the map. Shapeshifter wanting to play forward needs to duel Kubla, although Kubla does have his ultimate ready for this fight. Comes up with the charge, wants to play very aggressive. Soon to use his Earth Shatter, and there it goes, not landing on anybody. Michael popping out the perfect Transcendence. Then he starts finding some kills, but the focus is absolutely everywhere. Shapeshifter comes with the Earth Shatter, doesn't quite find it, but there we go. Graviton Surge from Senticle. Kubla swinging his hammer directly into it, and a lot of a struggle for unidentified as 20 cleans up over on the McCree. They're going to be completing this, and that's exactly what they do, moving over to a round 3. Big time bank difference. 3 minutes 49 to overtime with 0.
Initiating.
And Identified are going to have to do a lot of work to keep this one together over on Blizzard World, being their 4th map as the hybrid.
Ready for battle.
40 seconds to put their defenses together and for them to regroup their thoughts, find exactly what it is that they need to win this. Not opting to take the Mei, wanting to go a pure Zen Goats composition, potentially what they need to break the divide that they're currently in. Energy.E.D.E.N on the attack. 20 seems to be sticking to the McCree at the moment. Potentially for Afara, of course. Right now only needing a single tick on the point, so potentially what they want in this competition, as we do see. Identified opting to wait here in the Lost Vikings. And 20 gets absolutely barraged upon. Grifflet goes down as well, and they need to watch how Senticle is over on the Symmetra, and they need to realize that they cannot joke around here. Arteria ticking up the point on his own. Dizzy dives right back onto it with his boosters. Needs to find Arteria as soon as possible, and that's exactly what they do. And that point is going to start back ticking. 20 swapping back to the Zarya, knowing that they can't mess around like this. Although Senticle already at 60% of his ultimate, potentially going to be able to find a lot of work out of this. A Squishy, a lot of charge. Here we come, Teleporter. They're going to be able to cover quite a lot of ground, but it gets taken out very quickly from the side of unidentified, and they are not allowed to lose this fight. They cannot hold back at all. They need to do as much as they can. Kubla playing a bit of a death's dance here with Shapeshifter. 20 moving forward. Squishy sitting on quite a bit of charge. They start finding something directly off of this. Kubla does go down, and this is where unidentified should start pushing forward, but they need to be weary of what is near the point. Senticle right now on his own. Michael wants to follow up, and there he does with the headshot onto Senticle, keeping him off this point. And Squishy still playing very aggressively. 2.5 minutes. Not impossible, but extremely difficult. Very unlikely that Unidentified can edge this one out. Although, Energy.E.D.E.N potentially feeling very confident right now. Senticle does have his Photon Barrier ready to go. Potentially butchered the name of that ultimate, but it could do a lot of work if placed correctly. And there it comes out. Make sure that they cannot fight them, as they can win a battle of attrition here. Projectiles can't do too much. Kubla moving forward. Sound Barrier comes out from the side of Unidentified, and that's a huge shadow from Kubla, knocking down 3 of them, but Shapeshifter comes back with the same amount of players knocked down, and Graviton Surge as well coming down. Sound Barrier for Energy Eden, and we do see quite a few players from the side of Unidentified knocked down, and this could be it, as we do see Energy Eden taking the series 3-1 versus ATK.unIDentified, keeping their legacy of being undefeated in the leg. Unidentified sadly losing that one, but picking up a map against Eden is definitely something to be happy about, as we do see Eden dominating the scene once again. But this is only the first leg. As I have said, Dizzy, a very new addition to the team, not quite with the team synergy just yet. Potentially as we move into leg 2, you can see some of that change and a bit of improvements over there, as Unidentified still a team to be reckoned with. But by all means, Energy Eden playing their hearts out over here on Blizzard World. And managing to edge out the win against ATK.unIdentified. Extremely well played, very exciting match. And interesting to see how we are going to have the brackets look, or the standings look for that matter, moving over to leg 2 for Premier Division. Another match that happened tonight was Berserk 2CP versus the side of Leg1 Overwatch. Depending on their outcome, could possibly change things up a little bit. But by all means, Energy Eden, take it tonight. I'm not going to drone on for much longer. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And once again, thank you so much to ATK Arena for allowing me to utilize their space to cast this fantastic match. I look forward to seeing what ATK.unIdentified can do in Leg 2, and if Energy Eden are able to keep their undefeated streak here, as teams are edging closer and closer to taking maps off of them and soon to be series. Very well played, and good night.